welcome down the rabbit hole. I'm Lex.
And I'm Kae. And we're here to introduce you to us.
Yes. We have been friends for a really long time. Technically, really good friends. I kind of timelined it out. Really good friends since like 2014. So coming up on 10 years.
10 years?
Next year will be 10 years.
I've been telling people 11.
Well, we've known each other since 2011. So that's the timeline of us. We met in 2011 when you transferred to my high school.
Yeah. So I lived in Hillsborough for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then the ending of my freshman year, my mom decided she was going to move in with my stepdad.
Yeah.
And I transferred literally the last month.
Yes, I didn't meet you then, though, because that was 2010. I met you the beginning of your sophomore year.
I knew of you, though.
I didn't. Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Infamous.
Infamous.
So, yeah, we met in 2011. That was when I really got to know you. And then 2012 was when we, kind of started hanging around the same groups of people, but we weren't really friends. I don't think we were sitting at the same lunch table yet. It was you had gotten to know a lot of people that I had gotten to know, kind of the art nerdy queer kids.
Yeah.
And then it was in 2013 actually, the beginning of my senior year, your junior year, that we got invited to a party by a mutual friend.
Yes. So
that was
the start.
Yeah, that was a start of us just being outside of that kind of school.
Well, because before then I had also started participating in GSA very, very lightly.
Yes, yeah.
Very lightly.
You were coming
I would come to it.
A few times, and we're getting to know each other. We were, I'm dating so-and-so. Who are you dating? Oh, your, partner is here. My partner is here. All this kind of stuff.
At this point in time, I was dating a man. And so
from back in Hillsborough.
In Washington.
In Washington.
In Washington.
Yeah.
But you were...
I was dating a different woman. Yeah, I was dating a different woman. And she also lived in Washington. So we bonded about that.
Yes.
I remember being oh, wow, both of our partners have blonde hair and blue eyes and live in Washington.
And
we were like, what are the odds? And then I asked you if you were gay, and you said no.
Yeah, I laughed and said, no.
Yeah.
Why would you think that?
And then I just kind of probably did one of these... she doesn't know yet.
That was also the year right before I cut all my hair off.
Yes, your hair was longer when I met you. It was
yeah,
a little bit longer than it is now. But yeah, so all of that all of this kind of getting to know each other, hanging in the same groups, happened between 2011 and then 2013. It was the beginning of school year. I think it must have been October, maybe November, and school started in the end of September. Yeah. And it was right into the year. We had already become friendly. We were sitting at the same lunch table, talking to each other in photography class. We were getting to know. We were friends. We were acquaintances and friends. But then this party,
super, super close.
Not super close. No.
But I did walk up to you in photography class and said, "I only know of you. Can I just sit with you?" Because I knew nobody else.
Yeah, in that
and you
class.
didn't even really know me, but I was like, "I know of you."
It was one of those things where you have a group of friends, and that is also my group of friends, but we weren't explicitly friends.
No.
Which is also how I got to know and meet my wife in middle school, because her best friends were also my best friends, but she and I were not friends. We did not interact. We didn't cross paths.
Yeah.
But it's things like that happen. But yeah, this party happened. We got invited to this party. It was taking us outside of the school environment for the first time together, and I just remember at that party I was this girl is unhinged. I am unhinged. That's it. We're beginning.
This was the first time that we had ever actually hung out together, and I just distinctly remember looking at you, because everybody else was oh, I'm kind of bored, I don't know what to do, and I said, hey, are you a little bit religious? And you're no. And I was cool, I'm gonna make a Ouija board out of a pizza box.
Yes.
Because everybody else had already I already had the vibes out for them, and I was you're not super religious,
I'm not gonna
right?
Be oh my god.
Yeah.
Spirits.
So I remember just being I'm gonna take this pizza box we've all been eating pizza out of, I'm going to make an Ouija board, and we're gonna contact the dead. And you're fucking legit. Okay, let's go.
Let's do it. It sounds fun. Sounds like a great time.
It was a good time.
Yeah, and at that party, yeah, we just had all those, long forgotten inside jokes of, everything that when we went back to school finally, after that whole like night, we were just like, oh, we're really good friends now. Like, ha ha ha. Like, we have all these.
Well, this
jokes.
is also the night that you took so many photos of me sleeping.
I did. Well, not just you. I took pictures of Josie sleeping.
Not just but for some
predominantly
reason,
you.
Predominantly me, because for some reason that night I knew everybody in that group, and you knew everybody in that group, but for some reason it felt so awkward, and me and you just were like, we're going to sleep next to each other.
Yeah.
Like we knew everybody else.
I think it was because everyone else was kind of partnered up.
Yeah, well, because I was still relatively new.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And both of our partners were, like, in Washington, and, like...
Yeah, because...
Josie and Jordan, and they are not going to care that we say their names, but, like, they were there together. Jordan didn't spend the night, but, like, they were there together.
And was
with us, too. That
was
there was
with us,
it was
but
the three
was
of
still
us.
Closer to Josie.
Josie, yes.
And then it was... the host of the party.
Yes.
And that one
guy.
Crush. Yeah, with their crush. And then it was... the other girl who
was his best friend,
yeah,
and then she
brought
her boyfriend, yeah,
and so everybody really was like partnered up. And I just remember being like, I'm gonna sleep next to you tonight, because I remember distinctly it was kind of like a couch like this.
It was like a couch like this,
and you were right.
I was
here.
right on the floor up against the
and
couch,
then I just
in
like
the middle.
I had the pillow pets.
Yes,
the monkey, not the monkey. Well, I named it Monkey, but it was a turtle pillow pet.
Yes,
and I slapped it down next to you, and I was like, I'm gonna sleep here tonight.
Yeah, and that was really that kind of solidified. I mean, that was really the start of it, I guess. I wouldn't say that solidified it. That was like the start of it. Yeah, we went back to school. I graduated at the end of like that year, 2013. And then I obviously stopped going to school with you, but like we still hung out that whole summer. We were like friends. That was like our first 420 together with like everyone that towards the end of the school year. We became friends. And we were like, we talked a bit.
I had a different
you had
group.
a different friend group that you hung out with more, but like we still chatted, we Facebooked. It was like also the rise of Snapchat, so I think that like we were Snapchatting a lot. I mean, everyone was Snapchatting a lot. It was 2013.
Who didn't Snapchat?
I literally asked by senior year my partner to prom via Snapchat, like with the little like
Did you really?
Not prom, but like winter formal, like with the Snapchat like text like over a picture of my face, like winter formal ?
That's romantic.
It was Snapchat. It was fancy. Yeah, I didn't even want to go because I don't like school dances, but
I've only ever been to 2.
I have only been to 3.
Yeah.
4. I forgot I went to 4. I forgot to went to one in Washington. With my ex.
Yeah, because I went to Hill High for a little bit, and I went to Hill High before my ex-husband moved to Washington. I went with him, and then I went to his prom.
You just dropped the news that you have an ex-husband.
I have an ex-husband. We were married for a very short time. It was a very short time. It was me and him were married for a very, very short time, but we were together for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it was...
Do you want to dive into that, or do you want to leave that for another day?
I mean...
just like timeline of things?
Timeline-wise, when I started dating him... before I even started high school.
Yeah.
So timeline-wise, me and my ex-husband started dating the summer before my freshman year.
Yeah.
So when I met Lex and everybody, I was already predominantly like, I am a straight woman.
In a long-term
relationship with my high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
And we had only ever been together.
Yes.
It was only us. And so when I was introduced to you, it was... my long end game partner in Washington.
And I was like, yeah, I ship it. Like, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are really happy and, like, really cute together. And it was all fun and games. It was sweet. It was a really sweet relationship. Back to our relationship now, though. So, yeah, graduated 2013. 2014, we just kind of became closer and closer. It was in the summer of 2014 that my now wife, who was just my girlfriend back then, enlisted in...
But that's only because you stopped dating the woman in Washington and then started dating.
Yes.
Which, just so everybody knows, I genuinely thought that they were already dating up until Lex was like, no, my partner's in Washington. And I said...
You were like, what about that one that you're really
that one right there?
Right there that you're like all up on all the time and you guys are like besties. Yeah, we were gal pals. Until they weren't. But yeah, so that happened. So yeah, so before we got married though, we were like a year out of high school. You're still in high school at this point, 2014.
Yeah, so so everybody knows, Lex is 1 year older
a year
than me.
older, yeah, grade above. But yeah, that summer, after like everyone,
Lex and her wife.
Yeah,
because you and Dalton are the same age.
Yeah, we're the same age. We both graduated in high school, or in high school we did, but
graduated in high school.
2013. Yeah, we went to your whole class's graduation, like everybody, and then like a month later, my wife had got sent to boot camp. She enlisted in the Marine Corps.
And my ex-husband is older than Lexi.
Yes, yeah. So your ex was like already out of high school and like in his career and like living his life and like had his own place in Washington. And then this summer, after that you moved in with him, so you were living in Washington. We should also preface by saying like we live in the Portland metro area, and this was just Vancouver, Washington, which was not,
it's like 45 minutes out. It's not very far.
Yeah, some people who don't have a great like geographical map in their brain might be like, oh my god, it's so far. Oregon and Washington.
I would even argue that Vancouver, Washington is a part of like the Portland metro area because it's so close.
It's so close, yeah. So like you that summer had moved in with him, and my girlfriend was like leaving and enlisting and was like gone in boot camp. And for the Marine Corps, like you don't get to talk at all, like no cell phone, no nothing. It was just handwritten letters. And so that summer you were like really the one of my only friends who had their own place because you had moved in with your partner of so long. And so I was like genuinely very lonely. Yes, you moved up there and you left all of your friends like back in
all
our
my
hometown.
Friends and family. Like all my family is around this area, and I left all my friends and family to be with this man.
Yes.
Which, was not a great idea, but like I was in love with him. Yeah.
And
I was like,
and no one stopped you.
No one stopped me.
In hindsight, I should have been like, man, you really shouldn't move in. You should just like wait a few more years. But you were like, we've been together for so long. Like, what am I going to do next? Like,
we're going to build a home together.
Exactly.
So I really had nobody at this point. I was very solitude, lonely.
Yes, he worked all the time. He was like a career man.
He was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And I was very undiagnosed depressed.
Yeah.
Like depressy, like, like that stereotypical, I can't talk to anybody, I'm just going to lay in bed and sleep.
Like getting you to like take a shower was like a huge deal. I'm so proud of you for like that. Yeah. But, like, 100%. It was fine in high school and like when we first met, and then it got progressively worse as the years went by. Untreated mental illness. It gets worse.
If something's wrong, just go talk to somebody. Yeah, because I didn't. That was my big downfall, is that I really didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah. But yeah, so you moved, and then now my biggest like person in my life at this time, which was my partner, was gone, enlisted, and so I was just like, well, what am I gonna do all the time that I'm not working? And I did work a lot, and also I was a student at our local community college where I was just going because it felt like the thing to do for me and my family. And I also want to preface this by saying that like I got slightly kicked out of my house at 18, but not because my parents aren't amazing and they didn't love me. It was more so we had a family member fall really terribly ill, and so my family was like, she can move in to my bedroom at the time and we'll take care of her. So I was homeless for a little bit, and my family still helped me and fed me and was like, shower here and be here. But yeah, was like living in a trailer, and then I moved in with my other best friend's parent, and then that was super not healthy. So then I eventually ended up moving into my partner's family's home, which was like, yay, this is awesome, like I get to live with my girlfriend and like their family. And then my girlfriend was like, I'm leaving, I'm enlisting. So that was kind of a whole awkward thing of like, well, now I live in my girlfriend's house, but my girlfriend isn't here, and like we've only been together for like a year at this point, and it's really awkward, and what am I gonna do? And I don't drive.
I remember you distinctly messaging me being like, Dalton's enlisting. And I went, what do you mean enlisting? And you were like, she's gonna be gone. Because you were like, so we're throwing her a going away party. And I was just like, what the hell? Because I don't know if I had just like missed that conversation in high school, but I had no idea that Dalton even wanted to enlist.
I think it was something that like you kind of did miss, because she talked about it like right out freshman year. Actually in middle school she talked about it, like that was always going to be her plan, and then it kind of like never happened. And then she was like working in construction, and it was like a good paying job, because
I know for a little bit she was also doing the car thing, because my ex-husband and her would talk about like cars all the time.
And she was gonna do this, gonna do that. And so then finally one day it like really just clicked for her. She was like, I'm gonna enlist, like I'm going. And I'm glad that she did, because it was like a really great opportunity for us, and like it really did solidify her to be the person that she is now, which I love, and it did change her in some ways that I'm like, damn, that changed you, but also like, wow, I'm really impressed that changed you. So we have no regrets over that. She was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and it was fine. It was, I mean, the benefits after you get out are so much better than the benefits when you're in, but it's like you have to suffer for like 4 years, and then like once you're done, like you'll make it through. I mean, not everyone does, but that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Amazing. I love that.
But yeah, so she left, and so you were like alone, and I felt alone.
And then a huge family issue happened. I don't even know if you want to like talk about that fully, but a huge family issue did happen.
A huge family issue happened with my family. That kind of stemmed from my one ill family member moving into my parents' house. They had a lot of things going on at the same time, but essentially that same time frame of the summer of 2014, more like the fall, it was like August, September, and my wife got out of boot camp at the end of September, but it was like towards the end of summer, my parents decided to like end their marriage, and so
you had called me in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it
crying.
was like it was
the first time that you had ever called me that late, because we weren't talking on the phone, friends.
Well, yeah, we were texting and like, come pick me up, and then we'll talk in person and hang out in person.
And we'll chill and we'll hang out. But that was the first time you had messaged me, and then you were like, I need to call, and you called me, and you just were like, nobody else would answer, and I need somebody, and I was like, fuck, I'll be there for you.
And it was.
Then you predominantly lived at my house.
I was like there every single day that I didn't have school and work. I was there, like, and yeah, it was hard. It was hard because like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, at least in my generation growing up, their parents got divorced when they were kids, and so they like never knew anything different. And I should preface this too by saying it's my stepdad and my mom. My biological parents were never together. They're both amazing people, and I love them. And I love my step-parents. Like my stepmom, amazing, just an immaculate human. Like she's.
I've met
incredible.
all of these people, wonderful people.
Yeah, wonderful people.
Honestly.
But yeah, my stepdad and my mom was just like, you know, their marriage was over, and then it was just really hard, and I feel like they both relied on me a lot just to like help take care of their children together, my younger siblings.
Well, you have the curse of being the eldest daughter.
Yeah, the eldest daughter. Yeah, I have 4 younger sisters, 2 from my biological father's side and then 2 from my biological mother's side. And the ones on my mother's side were much younger. Like they were like 4 and 6 when all of this was happening, and so it was, or maybe like 6 and 8. It was really hard. They were young, and like it was kind of like, you know, everyone their age was having divorced parents, but for me, I was a fully formed like 19-year-old adult woman, and
already
I was, like,
out in the world.
Yeah, I was like having a job, going to college, like moved out. Like I was like, this is weird. Like my parents don't get divorced. Like this is weird.
My parents had already been divorced for a very long time,
yeah.
And technically my mom and my stepdad are not married. However, they had been together for so long that they're
basically married. Yeah.
What is it? Oregon has the like, if you've been together for so long, what is it called?
Common law marriage.
Common law
I
marriage.
don't think Oregon does, but some states do.
I'm pretty sure Oregon does.
I'm gonna have to look that up later.
Or like the domestic partnership thing, or whatever.
Something like that.
Something like that. Regardless, I was like, I'm there for you. My parents are fucking divorced.
Yeah.
Well, I was out the womb, and they were like, "Fuck this shit."
No, me too. I was out the womb, and my parents were like,
her biological parents.
Yeah, we're like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like really hard, and I just happened to be that you were the person I felt like I needed to talk to, and it was you and your then fiance.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that was a really huge turning point, honestly.
Yeah.
And like, because we are so like. When I think about our like friendship timeline wise, a huge turning point was photography class when I asked you if I could even just hang out with you guys.
Yep.
Another one was the party.
Yeah.
And then that one I think was the biggest.
Was like the solidification.
It was a canon event.
It was a canon event in our relationship that was like,
because you could have called so many people.
And the thing is I tried to call one other person before you, and they didn't answer. And I was just like really struggling with that person that specific summer. Like we're still friends, this person and I, but that really specific summer was just like really like a rough summer for us in our friendship. And I did go to them first, and they didn't answer, and I just was like, who can I talk to? Because at this point, Dalton, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, was in boot camp, and like that for the Marines, there's no cell phone, there's no phone, there's like
you can only write.
You can write, and there's like a case of emergency number that you can call, and I was like, this isn't like that level of emergency.
It was like an emergency for you, but like not enough to be like.
And like the other person that I usually go to talk about like the hardest things in my life are like my mom, and I couldn't talk to my mom about this. Like my mom was going through it.
Yeah.
So it was hard, and I was like, who can I talk to? Who's gonna be there for me? Who can like come pick me up? Like I needed to not be alone, and I called you, and you were in Vancouver, and you were like, we will come get you this weekend. You can spend like the whole weekend with us.
I think we ended up getting you literally the next day.
Yeah, and I did, and I stayed.
Weekend.
It was like a 4-day weekend because I remember this specific event happened over a holiday weekend.
Yes,
a Labor Day weekend, and I stayed with you for the whole 4 days
because we were going over to party.
Yeah,
that night, and you were like, "Oh fuck it," and we were underage drinking, but drove us to the party and then drove us back.
Yes. Yeah.
My ex-husband.
And so that kind of just changed everything. Like that night I just was like, I mean, it's so like sad to think about. Like I just remember being so like lost and like, what happens? Like what happens? What do you do? And I was just really depressed. And after that, then my wife came back. She got to come on like a little home visit after she graduated from boot camp. And she like obviously knew you guys were friends as well, but she came back and I was like, me and Kae are best friends now. We are gonna do everything.
Here's what happened while you were gone.
Here's like everything. Like we're inseparable. Our lives are intertwined forever now. Like nothing is gonna ever come between us. Like we're besties.
My ex-husband was basically like,
yeah. And my then girlfriend, current wife, Dalton, she got along with your ex-husband quite well, and so like that was nice too.
Yeah,
that
they were really good friends.
Yeah, they were good friends, and so it was nice to have like, I don't know, us be like the core four of like the pillars of our friend group, and so it was just good, and I would say like that was really like how our friendship came to be.
Yeah, because after that, you and Dalton got engaged.
Yeah, we got engaged in December of 2014, and then we got married.
And then you left.
We got married in December 2014.
Yeah.
We got engaged, and then we got married like 2 weeks later.
And I wore a cat scarf.
Yeah.
To your wedding.
We can like,
every single time.
We can like drop a picture right here or something.
But here's the cat scarf. It was iconic because the cat scarf looked like my cat Kiki at the time. It did,
yes.
And I was really obsessed with it.
Yes.
We'll drop a picture of that cat scarf because I think about that all the time. When I tell people,
what happened to the scarf?
I have no idea. To this day, I have no idea. I tell people all the time, oh yeah, I was in my best friend's wedding before we were super best friends, because we were best friends at this point. But I like
our level of best friendship now has like
skyrocketed. But I always laugh because I'm like, I totally just wore a straight up cat scarf, and in all of her wedding photos, there's just me with this fucking cat scarf.
I love the cat scarf. Iconic. Absolutely iconic.
And I wore that all the time.
Hey, I told you to wear gray. You came through. You wore gray.
I did.
Like, that was all we needed. But yeah, I got married to Dalton because... I mean, we loved each other. We wanted to get married, but a lot of it was because she had enlisted and she was obviously now moving to her duty station where she was going to be for the next foreseeable future until deployment or the next one or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm halfway done with my degree. I talked to my advisors. I was like, can I finish it online through the same community college? And they were like, yeah, you should be able to. So I was like, shit, guess I'll move. And then we did. I moved away.
You moved, yeah.
I moved away for 3.5 years. I moved away from you.
And you moved to
Southern California. So far away.
It was about 18 hours away.
Yeah,
and
driving,
And sorry, that fuel is hitting me. But me and my ex-husband moved back to Oregon.
Yes.
As you were moving.
As we moved away.
Yeah,
yes.
as you moved away. And I was pissed, and we got that apartment that we stayed with his brother and...
Yeah.
And,
but first you had that other apartment in Tigard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was what you first moved into when I moved away.
Yes, that was the first one. That's a whole different other story that we're not going to get into. The one that I remember the most, though, is the one living with with his brother. Because that ended up becoming the, party house because
Yes.
we were all young.
We were finally turning 21.
21.
Yes.
My ex-husband was already 21,
already
so
21.
we had like the inn. Everybody was turning 21. There were so many things that happened in that apartment that were just like canon events.
Yeah.
Like so many. Even when you and Dalton came to visit, that was like the place to be was our apartment.
Yeah, we stayed with my mom still, but like we were there all the time.
All the time.
She feels left out.
I know.
Yeah, so we were there all the time and just partying and honestly being
We
absolute
had the
heathens.
popcorn ceilings.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember? And everybody,
Sticking the
because this is when
caps.
we were like obsessed with mics, and we would
Yes,
stick the
the
caps.
caps.
You would pick a corner, and you could see how many mics you drank throughout the night.
Yeah.
Which was terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
we were heathens. But yeah, that same summer you had gotten engaged.
We got
So
engaged.
you were
We also
engaged.
came to visit you.
Yeah, so that all happened in 2015. But yeah, in 2014, whilst Dalton was in boot camp, you had gotten engaged. So you were engaged, and then me and Dalton got married while you were engaged. And then 2015 now happens, and in February, March of 2015, I moved to California, and then I came back. First, I came back for your wedding, which was in July of 2015.
Yeah, and Dalton couldn't get the time off.
She couldn't get the time off because she was too fresh into the.
And she had to
FaceTime at your wedding. But I was in your wedding, so I was like, I had to be there. And also, I was just in, not working, doing. Now I was the one who was isolated from my family and depressed and alone.
The thing is that while you were in, I wish that Snapchat would have had the streak thing then, because there was not a day.
We talked every single day for 3 years.
I worked at Nike at this point.
Yeah.
And I was working 12-hour shifts, and I had a night shift, and you fucked up your own sleep schedule so that you could have could know what times I was on like break and lunch. And then when I got home, we would FaceTime each other and
talk.
like fall asleep.
Because
talking. Dalton was in like
she was just in the service. She was doing every day
in the field sometimes, and you'd be like, Dalton's not gonna be here for a week,
2 weeks, a month, 2 months. Yeah, she was. We were married and we were together, but like. She worked. I mean, they pay you for 24/7 work.
You got to do it.
You're doing it.
This was also the time me and my ex-husband were only married for like not even a year.
Yeah.
Shit went down so quick, so hard. I remember calling you on our legit like 1 year anniversary of like being married and being like, this can't be fixed. Yeah. And he's leaving me. Yeah. And I was crying. And
things were like messed up before that though, because when you guys came, it was actually when like that trip with like in John's van when you all drove down.
Oh yeah.
That was actually 2016, so that was a whole year later.
Yeah.
So that you got married in summer of 2015, and then it was the Memorial Day weekend of 2016. So like.
Because we drove.
10 months after being married, you came down to visit.
We were already having problems.
And you were already having problems. And I was like, do you guys even want to sleep in the same room, in the same bed? It was so awkward. And you were like, it's fine. Like, we're still friends. It's like, we're going to be friends no matter what. Because you had been in each other's lives for so long. And it was like, oh my gosh. But it was okay. And it was nice to have the whole, like, squad
I
there.
also still wanted to go regardless because I was hitting, like, I had already been in like a deep depression, but the beginnings of all of this problems with me and my ex-husband were like what really pushed me even deeper, because I remember after calling you after saying, oh, he said this is, we can't fix this, like it's gonna happen, I shut down so hardcore and you couldn't even be there.
Yeah,
which
it was hard for
made
me.
it even harder for you because you would have to constantly call me, and I was just fucking depressed.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do anything, and I didn't want anybody even near me, and you had to call one of your friends to come check up on me. Yeah. Because I was just like,
yeah, you can't be. I knew you couldn't be alone. It was hard. It was so hard. It made me feel so like out of control. And I also, being isolated from my family and my friends, I was so depressed. Like down there, like I love my wife, and I have no regrets about moving down there. And she and I have talked this through a lot. But like it was so hard for me. Like I was so miserable so much of the time because I felt like the most intense, serious case of FOMO that has ever existed. When
and you're a person that gets FOMO.
I get FOMO. I get FOMO about like fantasy things that aren't even real, and I'm like, damn, I wish that was me. Like I get really intense FOMO.
This was also like peak you peak FOMO for you, depression because you were stuck in California, and peak depression, I'm gonna like commit the deep sleep because I'm not very close with my family. Let's preface that way. So Lexi's family had become my family, and Lexi was gone, and my ex-husband's family was no longer my family because we were getting divorced, and I didn't feel comfortable, you know, not to mention that his mom wasn't a huge fan of me either, and neither was his, like, stepdad. You know what? Teach their own. But I really felt like I had nobody. And it wasn't, like, yours and Dalton's fault, and I don't want you to ever feel like that, because I love Dalton and I love you, and Dalton's gonna, like, edit this and listen to all of this, which is kind of creepy to think about. But I was so happy that you guys were, like, doing Dalton's dream and you had it all figured out. But I, like, felt so alone, and then I was like, what if I just moved down there?
Then there was that time, it was like, end of 2016, where I was like, Dalton was potentially gonna get deployed at this point, and
we were making legit plans.
We were making legit plans. We're like, I was like, she's gonna leave.
I was like, I'm gonna quit Nike.
Yeah, I was like, we'll just come.
I'll buy a one-way ticket.
We will live off of her, like, deployment fund. She'll be, you know, wherever she was gonna go, and then we'll just survive off of her income. Like, and I was like, it'll be fine. We'll just be together 24/7.
Yeah,
like, we'll just
neither of us had our driver's license.
No, we didn't have a license. We could not drive.
I think I was like, I'm gonna get it right before I go, because
I did. I literally got my license in freaking 2017 at the age of 21. I got my driver's license.
You got it right before me, and then when we were making this plan, I was like, I am gonna go get mine too, because I'm getting fucking divorced. Yeah. You need to drive.
You weren't a driver. Neither of us like to drive. I'm gonna say this now. You have the gays who can drive,
and the gays
who cannot. And we are both the gays who cannot drive.
I need to drive, but I cannot drive.
Yeah, I drive every day of my life, and it is traumatic every day of my life.
To get to my job now, it takes me 30 to 45 minutes, so I do drive a lot, but should I be driving? Debatable.
You're a better driver than I am, though.
That's only because I 100% turned into grandma, and I don't fucking trust anybody on the road.
And I have overconfidence in my driving, where I'm like, I can do it. Can I do it? No, I should not be doing it. Whatever it is on the road, I shouldn't be doing it. Get me off. I'm gonna, like, commit vehicular manslaughter.
I'm not like a religious person, but I will pray before I get into the car with you.
Yeah. I'll kill us all someday. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if I fucking die, I fucking die. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, so
this was a real plan.
Yeah, this was a real plan we had. It was 2017. Yeah, because Dalton got out in 2018. We moved home, so it was.
And we were gonna be 1 year together.
Yeah, one whole year. We were like, she's gonna be gone, and then, chink, jokes on us. Dalton doesn't get deployed. And I was like,
and I met somebody.
And you met somebody. You met somebody at work at Nike.
I met somebody at work at Nike.
Yeah, that was 2017, right? Yeah. And so we were like, oh my God. Okay, so the plan.
So this is working out.
This is working out.
Everything's moving
up. It's getting better. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine. And
it wasn't. Surprise. It wasn't.
It was for a little bit.
For a little bit, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
For a little bit, my partner at that time, who was also another man, because I did eventually come out. We
should have gone way back.
Eventually,
before you even got married.
I was out of high school. Yeah. But it was before I got married, where I, like, finally texted you one night, and I was like, I think I'm a little fruity. I think I'm just like
might be a little queer.
I might be like a little bit fruity.
And I was like, I know.
Yeah.
Which you should never. I don't like to say that to when people come out to you. I don't think it is a productive answer to anyone. But just, like, given the amount of times that we had talked about it, and you were like, I'm straight.
Well, we used to have so many serious talks about, like just people we were attracted to, because like before there was smash and pass, there was like fuck, marry, kill, and it would always be like
or hot or not,
or like whatever your team, like they're your team or whatever, like my team, I dibs or whatever, and we would play these games, and every single time we played, it would be like well, Ray was a really big one. Daisy Ridley.
Yeah. Yes.
I like was obsessed with her, like in a really weird way. And I was like, no, I really enjoy the fact that like Star Wars is like putting a female forward, a powerhouse, because we need somebody like Leia, but now she's legit like a Jedi, and we're seeing her as a Jedi. And you were like, I was like, do you want to be her, or do you want to be like with her?
And that was always kind of my thing to like all the baby queers in high school. I was always like, do you want to be them, or do you want to be with them as Mama Gay? And you know, they'd be like, I want to be with them, and I'm like, it's okay, come on in, it's okay. I know. And I
really did want to be with Daisy Ridley. I mean, I love her. In love with her. She's great. I had a poster of her in my room, and I was like, no, I just really like her character for like the longest time. I remember. Yeah, and I was like, no, I admire her. Yeah. And her beautiful face. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I did end up coming out to my ex-husband at the time. He was my husband at the time, and I was like, hey, I really do think that I'm actually queer, and I came out to like my family, and I was like, I'm queer. Nobody was surprised. Yeah. It was not. Nobody was surprised but me. Yeah. That was really I was like, whoa. If I can, I'll put like a little photo here of me, my junior, senior year, of like people legit came up to me my junior or senior year when I cut all my hair off, and they were like, oh my God, you came out. And I was like, no. Why
is that like such a canon event in like every queer person's journey?
It's the haircut.
Yeah, like or in our Mulan era where we're like, who is that girl I see? Yeah. Cut my hair off. I'm gay now. Like,
literally, I had so many people in. Yeah. Because you had already graduated, and I was still going, and I was just like, I'm just gonna like do a little. It was like the Ellen DeGeneres look, you know, the pixie cut. Yeah.
It was also the year of pixie cuts. Like, everyone was gay because everyone had a pixie cut.
Yeah. And so I came to school, but I wore that fucking denim jacket all the time. Fucking light.
Denim jacket. But with like you wore it with like a hoodie underneath too, which the hood popping out of the denim jacket. It's gay.
Yeah, and so people were like, oh my God, did you like come out? And I was like, no, I'm fucking straight. And they were like, sure, Jan. And then they'd walk away, and I'd be like,
you were like, what no, this is my reality.
This is real.
Yeah. And it was real until it wasn't. So that's way back in time. So yeah.
So I was dating another man though.
Yes, this was 2017. We're living in California still.
And I ended up moving in with this man.
With this man, yes. Yeah. Yes.
And we did not... He was like a very long rebound.
Yeah, he was like a long-term rebound.
If you know anything about me, know that I date to date, and I will try really, really hard to make it like a long-term relationship. I tried just like doing the fucking around thing. No, it hurts my heart way too much. Yeah. I'm a person that's like...
You're a relationship girly.
Yes, and so this was a very long rebound.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was younger than all of us.
Yeah, so I was a cougar.
Yeah.
Not like that much younger than me, but he did go to school with us.
Yes.
And he was, if my ex-husband, I was a freshman, he was a junior. When I was a junior, my ex-boyfriend was the freshman. Yeah. So it also the only person I've ever dated that was younger than me.
Yes. But I was so, like, FOMO, as I do. Lex has FOMO. Always. I was so FOMO that I was like, here's 2 plane tickets, like, come visit us in California. Oh my God, yeah. And I was like, I don't care, like, you guys I think it was, like, some long weekend in October, November or something, some holiday or something.
Yeah, because I wanted you to meet him.
Yeah, but I for some reason, I couldn't, like, come up there, or, like, Dalton didn't want me to because something was going on.
You ended up coming down, bought us tickets, and then we all went back
together. Yeah, so I flew back to PDX.
It was for my birthday.
No, because when we went to Universal...
No, it was for your birthday.
No, when we went to Universal, it was
October.
It was October. So I just came up, I think, because
To be fair, I went over there, like, all the time.
Yeah.
I would always have her buy me tickets.
Yes, yeah. So during the entire, 3 years that my wife and I lived in California, we probably didn't go more than, like 4 or 5 months without seeing each other because I would just be like, oh, hey, we have $100, like, I'm buying you a plane ticket, because between
LAX, I would just take the time off.
Yeah, between LAX and PDX, the air travel's pretty cheap. More so expensive now, but, like, back in 2015, 2016, 2017, it was pretty cheap. So I'd be like, hey, do you have, like, a long weekend just, like, for 4 days because I want to be with you?
Yeah, and I would just
because, like, yeah, I miss you. So this was October 2017, and I was like, let's go to Universal Studios together and bring your new boyfriend.
Well, at first it was supposed to be just me.
Yes, it was.
And then I was like, oh, I want you to meet this bitch.
Yeah.
What was it? It wasn't Zelle.
No.
I think I handed you actual money at that time and was like, I'll pay you back if you buy an extra ticket.
Yeah, because the plan was, I had bought like a one-way ticket to PDX from California, and then you and I were gonna fly back together and go to Universal. But now there was this third person involved, and I was like, okay, well, he can just come back with us, and then you guys can fly back together, which is what we did. And so I went there, and I met him, and I was like, okay, he's okay, he's pretty great. And then we went back to California together, had our whole Wizarding World of Harry Potter out-of-body experiences. Again,
I would say that this era of my life was the long rebound party girl era.
Yes.
Because I started partying like every weekend.
Because he had like just freshly turned 21.
Yeah.
And so he was like, let's get crazy. Like,
and I was like,
vape, dabs,
because I was still
drinking,
like really
Jaeger.
sad.
Yeah, exactly.
And we would go camping like every single weekend. We had alcohol every single weekend.
Yeah.
I was like sad. I was partying.
And I was like, this is great, because when I lived in California, like, we never, like, really partied or anything. Like, we did sometimes, but the Marines party different. It's more like, let's drink until we puke.
They do. Because one time I went there when I was single, like, right after freshly being, like, divorced. Went there when I was single, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking kiss a Marine. I did. I don't remember who it was.
Kiss some people. Kiss them. Hey. They're single dudes.
They were, and but I did. I don't remember who it was.
Everyone was drunk, everyone was throwing up, and everyone was kissing. That is what it is like to live.
Did somebody jump over the fence that one time?
Yeah, ran into the desert.
Yes.
Yeah. So that fun times. Yeah.
So yeah, I was continuing my party girl era.
Yes.
With my
new boyfriend
who
also loved to party. His friends loved to party. Our friends were like, fuck yeah, let's just keep partying.
And so we were just partying
all the time. 2017 party year.
And then
then 2018 we moved back.
Yeah, but before you fully moved back, we only dated for like a little bit longer before I told him that I was like, maybe I don't want to party every single fucking day. And then he broke up with me.
Well, no, because you guys were still dating when we moved back in May.
Yeah, but only for a little bit.
Yeah, so I think you were starting to have some issues.
Because it was May, and
May 2018.
Because he never actually went to your guys' house.
No, not our house.
We broke up in August. So we were having issues.
Yeah, and we moved into our new house in June of 2018.
Yeah, and then there was the July one, and then he stopped coming completely with me to anything.
Yeah, and because you were living with him even after you had broken up, and it was really awkward. And
it was so awkward.
It was,
and I was, again, really depressed.
You were like, I don't know where I'm going to live, and then...
Forever living that roller coaster of, like, depressed and happy.
Yeah. And so then you... Where did you even live after that? Did you move back in with your mom?
I had to move back in with my mom for a little bit,
That is rough.
It was rough.
That was rough. Because we had just moved in with... Our roommates and their brother, and we were like, well, we don't have a room. That was rough. And also you were like...
What you can't see is that the Short Kings just came back into the house. They're
on camera now. So anywho, so that is... I mean, are we just going to keep going, like, in the timeline?
I mean, timeline-wise, where are we at now?
2018, you just broke up.
Yeah. Me and ex-boyfriend just broke up.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to dox that man. He's having a hard time with his ex-wife now. He's having a hard time, as far as I know. Oh, he has a new girlfriend? Oh my god, good for him. Wow, he moved on so fucking quick. Damn, he does that, though. Because when he broke up with me,
he went
right back to her.
Okay,
I mean, fair.
Edit all of this out for the moment you get in the shot.
Keep it in. Just edit out his name. If the shoe fits.
It fits.
You can omit in the audio. Just put over his name.
Okay, so 2018, my wife and I moved back. She gets out of the Marine Corps. I get a job working at a sandwich shop.
And she starts going to school.
And no. She starts
do?
working at a bakery as a delivery driver.
I forgot about the bakery era.
Yeah, she was a delivery baker.
I don't know.
This is Days of Our Lives?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking deal with it.
You worked at a bakery?
You don't, because I didn't know you.
Am I talking to you? Did you work at a bakery?
I didn't. Dalton did.
You can't dox us. Also, blurb it out.
That was M. Morales of New Jersey. Also my partner.
They're fucking distracting us now.
Yeah, you guys have to go on another walk.
Go away.
How many hours of footage do you have?
44 minutes.
Not enough.
Oh, 44 minutes?
Well, we were having some issues.
Yeah, we had a lot of issues.
Will you go get...
No.
I'm just making up tasks for them to leave. Your next quest, should you choose to accept it.
It's almost 4.
I got you gas. You're welcome.
You got gas.
I got you gas right here.
Okay, I feel like we have to stop now. 2018.
That's where we stopped, is 2018.
Yep.
Show me what you got.
We
Okay.
weren't even finished.
Okay, where's the snap, crackle, pop?
Kings are talking.